Welcome to a New Beginning podcast. I'm your host, Maureen Doyle. I'm a certified life coach, author, and coffee enthusiast. Did you know that at any moment you can create a new beginning in your health, relationships, career, or mindset? Each week, I will share simple strategies to transform your life and create new beginnings. Ready to start yours? Let's dive in. Hello, everyone. It is July 2025. Can you believe we're already halfway through the year? How in the world did that happen? I don't know about you, but it just feels like life is speeding up. Maybe that's my age, or maybe time really is flying. So, how are you feeling about the first 6 months of 2025? Are you excited? Are you encouraged? Are you discouraged? Do you feel like you're behind? And are you ready for a reset? So the last few weeks, I've been reflecting on the year so far, and I am doing, and I have done, a mid-year reset. I've also been walking my clients through this process, and I thought it might be helpful for you too. Now, this isn't about regret or self-criticism. This is just about awareness, it's about celebration, and conscious course correction, if needed. So let's take back the wheel instead of letting the rest of the year unfold on autopilot. It's time to reset, realign, and perhaps accelerate. So looking back in January, we all start with goals and dreams and promises. And with a new year, there's always this idea of a fresh start. But then slowly and quietly, we start to drift. We fall off track. We let things slide by without really realizing it. And I know this because I've done it. And then we start to tell ourselves, well, maybe next year I'll finally make that change. Or maybe it's just not meant to happen this year. But wait a minute, everyone. We're only halfway through the year. And a lot can happen in 6 months. Whatever your January vision was, there is still time. Or maybe it's evolved. Maybe it's changed. And that's okay. Here's something that I know for sure, though. When you have a big goal, big goals come with big resistance. That is definitely what I know for sure. Whenever you're creating or growing, obstacles will show up, and that's normal. That's part of the deal. But a lot of times when those obstacles often show up, we start to question everything. Was my goal too big? Was I unrealistic? And then we start to compare and despair. Others can do it, but not me. What if instead of trying to achieve your goals from your current identity, you asked yourself, who do I need to become to reach this goal? I always like to imagine my future self who can achieve that goal much easier than the current version of myself. So let's think about this. If your goal is better health, maybe that's weight loss or getting in consistent movement or healthier food choices. Instead of fighting your current habits, visualize the version of you who already lives that way. That version of you that loves eating well, that enjoys going out for a walk after dinner, enjoys movement, and that version of you that feels amazing in your body. Then you start making decisions and choices from that future version of you, not the one that is living right now with these current limitations. That is an easier way to achieve a new goal is look to the future version of yourself that's already living like that. Okay, let's go back to January. So what were some of your goals in January? Think about that. Did they still feel right? Or have they shifted? Do you want to recommit to them? Or do you want to redefine them? Instead of trying to make changes again from your current self, let's go back to that future version and ask yourself, who do I need to become to achieve this? What version of me has already figured this out? For me, I always have business goals. And as a business owner, I am constantly stretched and I have to change and evolve. And I always rely on my future self to guide me and to remind me of what I'm capable of. And then sometimes that also means just calling myself out. So at the start of January, I decided to pause the podcast. I told myself that I didn't have the time. I told myself that maybe it wasn't just that it wasn't valuable. And then I pulled back on my social media too. The same story. I was too busy. But here's the truth. I was hiding. And also, I was being a little bit lazy because being creative takes time and effort. And being creative could be being creative in the kitchen. That takes time and effort too. And creating is so different than consuming. And what I was doing was I was listening to podcasts, I was reading books, I was scrolling through social media under the idea that it was helpful and it was even productive. And sometimes it was, but I was using it to avoid creating. I wasn't tapping into my own wisdom because that takes effort. And the truth is that also takes some courage. So I really was hiding. And I was also giving myself permission to play small. I made excuses, and don't we all? But we have to get honest with ourselves. Was it that I didn't have time, or was it just an excuse? So now, no more excuses. This is my reset, because the truth is, it really isn't that hard. When I do show up, and when I do create, and I share, and I speak from my experience or from the heart, that's when I feel good. That's when I feel aligned. And that's who I want to be. I don't want to just be a consumer. I want to be a creator, a contributor, someone who shows up for the people I want to help and also for myself. And that's why this reset was so needed. And that's why I'm recommitting. So a little bit more about the obstacles. Whenever you commit to something new, whether it's a podcast or a health goal or building a business, you will hit obstacles. And then your brain will say, you know what, this is just too hard. I can't do it. And here's a big one. I don't know how. And here's the thing about that statement, I don't know how. Of course you don't know how. It's new. And it is in the doing that you learn how, not before. Think about that with cooking, because I love to cook. And so many people will say, yeah, but I don't know how. Well, of course you don't know how if you haven't been practicing, if you haven't been doing. It is in the doing that you learn how. So obstacles are always going to be a part of our curriculum. They're never signs to quit. They're signs that you're growing. So now is a great time to take your 6-month pause, your mid-year review. Take time to think on your life and not just live in your life. Ask yourself these questions. What are your wins for the first half of the year? What's working? What's not working? What habits are helping you? And which ones are holding you back? And are your relationships and environments aligned with your vision of who you want to be at the end of the year? And what beliefs or practices would better support that next version of you? So reconnect with what you truly want. Ask yourself, what is it that I truly want and why? Not what your friend wants, not what your family wants, not what you think you should want. What do you want? Sometimes the best place for me to access that inner knowing, that true part of me, is when I go out for a walk. A walk without listening to music or a podcast or talking on the phone. Just myself and my thoughts, and I highly recommend it. Your brain needs a break from all the noise and all the information that is coming at all of us constantly. And then ask yourself those questions and wait. Wait to see what comes up. So what does that future version of you look like December 31st, 2025? What does that future version of you think? How does that version of you speak? What is your vocabulary? And then what are some of your I am statements? Really start thinking about your I am statements and which ones do you want to start practicing? I am focused. I am confident. I am successful. I am grounded. I am healthy. What you say after I am shapes your entire life. So the first half of 2025, it's over. What did you learn? What are you proud of? What are you grateful for? When you look back, make a list of what you're grateful for. You know, gratitude is the highest vibration, and it feels so good. So look for those moments. So personally, I'm grateful for so many incredible moments. One is watching one of my daughters shine on stage in her dream role. Or another one was traveling to Japan and Vietnam with another daughter and celebrating a med school graduation. There were so many moments of joy and gratitude and excitement. And then, of course, connecting with all of my clients and celebrating their successes. It has been so good, and just noticing the wins and the celebrations. And then think about it. The past is just a story in our head. So we get to tell that story. We get to choose how we want to tell it. So how do you want to tell the story of the first 6 months of 2025? So our brain will always find what you tell it to look for. If you're saying that it's too hard or it's too late or it's too big, it'll show you why. It'll give you evidence for that. But if you start asking better questions such as, what's possible for me for the next 6 months? What can I create? Your brain will start to look for those answers too. And remember this, the most powerful shifts in our life come from the smallest, most consistent actions. So think about this. Align your daily choices, your daily habits, those small habits, with the version of yourself on 2025, December 31st. What daily habits can you change? What can you add? Or what can you delete? What I am statements do you want to start practicing? And which ones do you want to stop saying? I'm overwhelmed. I'm a hot mess. Do you really want to practice those? Or do you want to practice more empowering I am statements? I don't know about you, but I needed this reset, this reflection, this recommitment. And now I feel like I'm ready for the next 6 months. How about you? Have a beautiful week, my friends. I'll talk to you next week. If you enjoyed this podcast, check out my free workbook, 6 Secrets to Getting Anything That You Want. Head over to maureen-doyle.com/6secrets guide to pick up your free copy today.